So, big question for our conversation today. Do soulmates exist? Is that a real thing? Is it possible? Is it impossible? And you and I touched on this, babe, a couple of weeks ago on the episode called Love is More Than a Feeling. And we touched on this whole idea, right, of can there be a soulmate, right? And it created a little bit of a stir in the audience for us. And we got some messages back, and like we actually had some people like, hey, can you talk about that some more? And so that's what we're going to talk about. Can you have a soulmate? Is there a real thing, or is that all just fake
fairy tale
news, right? Yeah, fairy tale. So hey, welcome back to the living room, where we have real conversations for every space of life that you're living in. And today we're going to come at it from the perspective of the romantic relationship. I think that's the only focus you can have a soulmate, right?
Well, according to Webster.
Okay, cool. Well, I like this. Let's start there. Let's start at a fundamental definition of what we would say a soulmate is. Now, look, we're not coming across like, or I hope we're not coming across like we know it all. But I think we just, for the sake of our time together today, let's really break down what we consider when we hear people talking about a soulmate, like what we perceive them to mean, right? So let's establish that. What do you and I believe a soulmate is?
So I think a soulmate, that's usually what most people are talking about. The one my soul loveth, right? The one person I'm supposed to spend the rest of my life with.
Okay, yeah, I think I agree with you, right? That concept, the one, right? Okay, so is there such a thing? Let's just hit that right there. If it's at a fundamental, when someone says, man, I want to find my soulmate, I'm looking for my soulmate, is she out there? Is he out there? I think a lot of us were asking, are they the one, right? Okay, so does that concept exist? Is that a real concept, or is it even a good idea?
Well, I mean, my perspective, I think the soulmate that you're looking for can exist. I don't know if they're going to exist right in the moment when you meet them, but
Yeah.
I do think finding a person you want to spend your life with and then them becoming your soulmate is something that is possible.
Okay, cool. So you jump right into the punchline. Let's all talk about it all a bit up front. So I agree, right? I think that's absolutely where we want to go. So you get the ending at the beginning right away. I do think as well that you can be a soulmate, you can become a soulmate, but I don't think on day one you find a soulmate, right? I think the concept of establishing someone after like 3 coffees and 1 dinner, and like a day trip together and saying, yo, this is the one. I don't think that's real. I think that to get there, you have to really suspend reality. And the reality is it's too much pressure.
Yeah.
Right. To put on yourself or to put on another person to be the one. And anytime you interact with something that's fiction or not real, you have to suspend reality. And unfortunately, I think a lot of times what people do, if we can just talk about maybe some of the booby traps of believing in that concept of the one or wanting a soulmate, if we can talk about some of that, like I think that happens a lot of times. We suspend realities that we see because we're so infatuated with the thought of the one. We're so infatuated with like, man, I struck gold. It was like, I mean, I hit the Powerball.
Yeah, and I think the red flags in that is that you miss the red flags because nobody comes green flag all the way. Nobody comes perfect.
Yeah.
So I think in that when you find somebody and you really connect with them and it's cool, maybe for a month or two, you do, if there's red flags, you completely miss them or you cover them up because you're trying to live out the fantasy of, no, this is my soulmate. Like we clinched the first 3 dates. Like this has to be it.
Yeah. I love that you used to say that we clicked after the first 3 dates. I wonder if what a lot of people have called a soulmate really is just a good first impression.
Yeah, that's
Right?
that's a good point.
Like it really just, man, he dated really well the first 3 dates. And I don't think you can, well, look, you can call that a soulmate, but I think you got to be really careful, right? Determining and defining something so fast.
Yeah.
I'm really stuck on this thing. I'm really stuck on this thing about suspending reality and suspending truth so you can adhere to a fictional perspective or a fictional script in your head, right? And maybe it's because this weekend, Chloe and I. So Chloe's our oldest daughter. She's gonna turn 13 in a few weeks. And one of the things that she and I have been doing is essentially like creating a list of PG-13 movies that we're going to watch, because we haven't allowed her to watch PG-13 movies. And this weekend, I just was like, it's the summertime, and she's been a good girl. You know what, babe? Let's go. We're gonna start with one of them that I think is a safe place to start with PG-13. And so we started watching Marvel movies, right?
Okay.
So we watched Captain America, then we watched the first Avengers. And here's my point: as I was watching it, it's so crazy, right? Because like the Avengers came out in 2008. Can you believe that?
Okay.
That's 17 years ago,
Okay.
right? And I remember watching the Avengers in the theater 17 years ago when it first came out. And I'm watching all the special effects and I'm watching all the CGI. And at the time, it's like cutting edge.
Yeah.
Right? And as I'm watching it in my home, 17 years later,
It's not so fun.
do you see what I'm saying? Right? And so I'm watching it in my home. I'm watching it as life and time and technology has evolved and grown. And I'm looking at the thing that when I experience it in the moment, I'm like, this is the best ever. But the truth is, it didn't date well. And I found myself having to suspend reality as I'm watching it, like, because I kept thinking, oh gosh, that's terrible. Oh my gosh, there's no way that could be. Oh my gosh, that looks so fake, whatever.
Oh, okay.
And I just kept suspending reality to try to enjoy this thing, right? That conceptually I thought I was gonna love. And I think the principle, right? The takeaway there is, first of all, when you watch it the first time, the question you have to be asking myself is like, hey, is this just really good CGI? Is this just really good special effects?
No, I think
Again,
I think that's something to talk about, because there are some people that date really well
absolutely.
and they check off all the boxes. It's like
Absolutely.
there's some people that interview very well.
Yeah,
They
there you
get
go.
the job.
There you go.
Everything on paper is what it's supposed to be.
Yeah.
And when you get the job, then you get fired within 2 months because it's like you don't match
For sure.
your skill versus your papers.
Yeah, well, that's a great point, right? My skill didn't match the story I told in the interview, right? My skills told another story. And what's a skill? My skill is what you get me
Right.
away from the first impression, right?
Away from the beautiful perfume or cologne
Hello.
or fresh haircut.
Hello.
This is like, yeah, this is the raw me. Like,
Which, by the way, how many of us have gotten how many of us have gotten played by really good makeup and a really fresh haircut, right?
really
And it's
good
just like-
makeup is real. Like, if you know how to beat your face, like when you wash it,
that's hilarious.
that's a whole different person. I've been shocked.
Catfished.
Yeah.
Catfished, right? So what's our point? I think our point is the thought of a soulmate instantly is suspended reality.
Yeah,
right?
we're
It's fictional.
we're definitely living in Cinderella, Disneyland.
I agree.
Fairy tale. It's
I
for
agree.
women. I don't know how it is
No,
for men.
I think it's for men also.
But for us, like, we want that fairy tale. That's the problem, though. We want it.
Yeah.
So when you look for something, you're gonna find it.
that's a great point. Oh shoot, that's a great point.
So I think that's a huge issue when it comes to like dating or finding somebody you want to be with. We don't date objectively. We date with our head in the clouds because we want the fantasy. Like, I watch romantic rom-coms all day long because I love that fantasy. I know it's not real, but when you watch it, it's like it brings you to a whole nother world, right? But I think as a woman, sometimes you really want that to be real.
I love it. I love that perspective, right? You can't watch fantasies. You have to have the discipline to watch a documentary.
Yeah.
Right? You have to watch
that's real
documentary
life.
for what it is. I agree 100%. And I think that in establishing yourself, you said something really, really powerful, that you want the fantasy, right? And I wonder how many of us don't necessarily want the fantasy. We just don't know what we want, period. And so the fantasy is the easiest thing to cling to, right? You asked the question, like,
That's good.
you said that it was for girls. What, is it the same for guys?
Yeah.
I think it is to a degree, right? I think the guys, however, is a little bit different because, I think the romantic idea of a soulmate appeals more to the ladies, because you all lead with your sentiment, right?
Right.
You lead with your emotions, you lead with your feelings, and that's not necessarily a bad thing, but you see with your heart first before you see with your eyes, right? You're attracted with your heart before you're attracted with your eyes. Although, like,
Times have changed. I'm just
well,
kidding.
not just time does change, but physical attraction is a big deal.
Yeah.
Maybe that's another conversation for another day. But I think guys have an idea of a soulmate, or maybe what if we took out soulmate and we put like this, like a fantasy, right? This fantasy thing where, you struck this idea when you asked the difference between guys and girls. And I think that for guys, I think sometimes by and large, the guys get so caught up with the physical attributes of a woman that they won't give a woman who they aren't necessarily hitting all the boxes of their physical appeal. They won't even give her a shot.
Yeah.
Like we know great ladies who are beautiful inside and out, but because they're not the perfect ideal, right? They're not the right measurements, the right this or right that, the right this and the places, blah blah blah. Like a dude won't even talk to her, right?
Yeah.
And so I think that just as fictional as this, like, oh my gosh, I found my Prince Charming,
Yeah.
on the third date, is the same thing with a guy who's like, oh my gosh, I found the one. How do you know? Because it's all in the right places, right? Like the bumps and the curves and the bumps and the bumps is like,
That's so shallow.
no, but it is, right. And now look, I do think physical attraction has a play.
I agree.
Like I'm grateful that after 25 years, as a matter of fact, this month we'll have been dating for 27 years. I'm grateful. I'm very grateful that I'm still very physically attracted to you, right?
Same.
However, I'm more attracted to you, and this is no cap, fam, for real. But like now that I've reached the age that we've reached, like I'm deeply attracted to your essence, right? Your thinking, your personality, like just you, not just how you look. I'm grateful that you look great, but there's just a more profound attraction. And so I think that there's no way I could
And I'm
have
switched.
known.
Just kidding.
Dude,
I like your biceps.
You're so out of control.
And you cannot talk. We're good.
Here's what's funny, right? Like, it's like now you're like, you cannot talk, we're good. I'm like, but I want to talk. I didn't want to talk. I didn't want to talk when we were younger. And now, like, I want to talk. You're like, nah, don't. It's all good. Don't talk. Don't say anything. Just be pretty. You made me lose my thought, girl.
Sorry.
No, but I think, yeah, I think there's a thing. Oh yeah, here's what I was gonna say. That I didn't realize this kind of attraction was possible, was real. I'd never experienced the type of attraction that I have 25 years in. And so while I think immediately day one, the thought of a soulmate is fictional, I do think, or what if we said it this way? It's theoretical,
Yeah.
right? Like in theory, but in practice, no way.
Yeah. I think you're going to set yourself up for disappointment, or you're going to set yourself up to literally pick the wrong person because you want that person to be it.
Yeah. But what we've learned is that in theory, it's a bad concept, but in practice, it's a possible reality in practice, right? Because I don't think you and I were soulmates when we met, but I think we've learned to serve each other, love each other, care for each other, know each other, respect each other enough to become that for each other.
Yeah, I 100% agree. There's no way I could have even known or even served your soul in the first year.
Yeah.
There's no way.
Yeah.
Because I was still, this is like way back, but you preached a message called soulish one time. That's where I was. I was very selfish / soulish for myself. How can I know your soul or understand you when I'm trying to figure out myself?
So caught up with me. Yeah. No, I think, okay, let's get into it deep now. I think that perspective right there is when when I'm younger and I'm new in the relationship and I want a soulmate, it's really soulish behavior, right? What I mean by soulish means I'm all about appeasing and pleasing
Myself.
my appetites, my desires, my impulse, the things that are by compulsions, my things that are driving me, and it's all about how I feel. And the truth is, at the beginning, whether it's dating or it's marriage, let's talk about marriage, right? Or even let's talk about dating. I think that's a good place, right? Because what I was going to say in the marriage context, body, mind, spirit, there's no way we were soulmates, right? It's taken us years to have the right familiarity with each other, the right understanding of each other, the right vulnerability and trust with each other, to where now I can please you emotionally, right? Like, I can make you laugh. I know what you like. I can read how you're feeling. And the truth is, though, like even physically and sexually, right? Like there's no way we could have pleased
no
each other,
understanding.
like at all. Like, because there's now, for those of you that have been married for enough time, long enough, I think you'll understand this, that there's a depth of intimacy and trust and vulnerability where the physical interaction, the sex, is so much better and different than when it's just like this raw passion, lust, which, like, okay, like there's a strong desire for each other, or just a strong biological drive when you first get married, and like, okay, cool, like that's great, let's get it in, we're smashing, right? But it's different. Now, don't make those eyes, come on, like people are married on the pod, right? Like, now I'm talking to married people, fam, right? I think that it's taken time for us to have the right vulnerability to even say, hey, this is what I like, this is what I don't like.
Right.
Hey, when I'm in this type of headspace, I'm not going to enjoy that with you, and on it goes, right? And so we've learned to serve each other, because I think even being soulmates includes that. But there isn't that type of outcome. Like, the sex can't be incredible and our physical intimacy can't be incredible if our emotional intimacy isn't there, and if our serving each other in everyday life isn't there, right? Because what I've discovered is that everything is foreplay, right? And so I'm not trying to turn this into like a sexual development and like a sex pod, but in that context, it's part of the thing, right? And so I think now, 20 plus years in, dude, everything is way better.
Yeah.
Because we have become soulmates.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think if you're listening and maybe it's been year 1, year 2 in marriage, and you're frustrated with each other and you're like, man, I thought it was going to be different, because we do get a lot of newlyweds that are very disappointed in the first and second year, because they want to be at year 20.
Sure.
Like, well, it's supposed to just look like you guys. And they forget that you're a toddler in marriage, or you're literally just been born. All of this that we're talking about, especially when it comes to understanding each other's souls, like, takes so much time.
Sure.
So be in it for the long haul and do the work, because we did the work of denying ourselves, like going back to like, okay, well, I'm going to die to what I want, and I'm going to ask and ask my husband and see, okay, how can I serve you in this sense? Yeah. And that's hard.
Yeah.
That is so hard. Do I want to do that? No. I want you to like please me, and I want what I want. But in this journey, if you're looking for a soulmate, the one you chose can be it if you take the time to develop.
That's beautiful. I don't appreciate this about our dynamic, that you're profound and I happen to just be the one that is just like, you're so profound, and I'm just the guy like, hey, let's talk about sex, right? Sorry, I don't mean to be that guy, but
I think it went with what we're talking about, because everything does get better.
Yeah, I'm just not trying to be that guy.
Well, no, you're not. I'm just saying, if we're gonna talk about,
I'm on Mr. Inappropriate. That's what I'm saying. Right? Like you're so like that was beautiful, and I'm just like over here like, hey, bro.
No, I don't. I'm just saying, I don't know who listens. I don't know if I want to be talking about sex.
I don't care.
Unless you want to be a Patreon listener for $5 a month.
But here's the thing, Dan. Like, you think people don't know what we do? They know what we be doing. Come on, girl. They know what we be doing, right? And it's good. It is really, really good. I honestly think we need to have a conversation soon about that in the living room.
If you subscribe.
Hey, for real, right? Maybe we'll do that. Like, we'll have a Patreon and we'll talk about it there.
Shy.
You do get shy.
A little bit.
You're not that shy though.
Super shy.
Hey, no, I think you make a really, really great point though, right? Like, in learning to serve each other's soul, right? When you were saying that, I'm just thinking about even just the thought of mate, right? Like,
Yeah.
like someone who it's like a running mate, like, like it's a partnership, right? Here's what's funny, super
So
like I'm like super random, right? But like I was thinking about how like when you were saying that, I was thinking about how like penguins mate for life,
oh,
right?
I was thinking about schoolmates. Okay.
No, that's cool. Like, right, but like, and one of our daughters, Bailey, loves penguins,
Yeah.
right? And so like we've watched like penguin documentaries and whatever. And I think it's so cool, right? Because they share things, they serve each other well. Like when they have a full nest, right? The male actually stays and sits on eggs so the female can go and like not just be stuck on the eggs, right? And back and forth, and they'll go and feed each other and come back and forth, and they share responsibilities and they share the ups and downs. And it's like I think sometimes what happens is the concept, fictional concept or
Yeah.
theoretical concept of soulmates is I just want it to feel amazing.
Yeah.
I want it to. I want the adrenaline. I want the euphoria. I want the dopamine. But the truth is, you and I have not. We didn't learn to be soulmates, and we didn't grow together, and grow into each other when we were feeling euphoria and feeling the dopamine. It was when we decided, like you said, to do the hard work of choice, right?
Yeah.
If you go back and you listen to the episode on Love is More Than a Feeling, one of the things that we discussed when we just briefly touched on soulmates is that when when you think about the thought of a soul, I'll try to do this very fast. The thought of a soul is three parts of what makes you you, right? It's your emotions or how you feel, it's your reasoning, your logic, or what you're thinking, and it's your will or your decision making, right? So the way I've always summed it up is this way: it's my soul is the decisions I make based on how I'm feeling and what I'm thinking, right? And the thought of a soulmate works when it feels good
Yeah.
and it makes sense, right? But there are moments where it doesn't feel good and it doesn't make sense, right? And that's not just the bad moments, right? There are some moments where it doesn't like it doesn't feel good and it doesn't make sense for me to like go out of my way to serve you because I'm tired and I've had a
Right.
long day or I'm in a tough season, and it's hard for me to serve you as an encourager, right, during a season where I'm discouraged and et cetera, right? All the different things that you can apply there. But I really believe that you and I have learned to grow into each other. I don't know why that statement really just resonates deeply with me, that we don't just grow with each other, we grow into each
Mm.
other. That it happened when we decided to choose to serve, not feel good and not, man, this is all gravy. But it was the seasons where like, this is nonsensical for me, but I choose you,
Yeah.
right? And I think that's where our souls began to blend, right? We both made a commitment. Think about this, right? We become soulmates when we both make the determination with our emotions,
Yeah.
our
With our
thinking,
will.
and our
Mhm.
decision
Yeah.
making. We're going to love each other and we're going to serve each other
Yeah.
this way.
This has to be intentional.
Yeah,
This
very good.
has to be an agreement as a couple. This has to be something that you talk about, discuss, and like there's a target here, because it's not just going to happen
That's very
if
good, babe.
one person does it. It
That's very
has to
good.
be a mutual agreement.
That's very good. So let's end the conversation here. I think, again, I love our dynamic because you say things so elaborately and beautiful. And I think in like the one liners, so when I'm hearing you say that is, you don't become a soulmate on passion,
Mm.
you become a soulmate on purpose.
Yeah. Yeah. You're great at one-liners. Go for it.
I'll take it, right? Together we're unstoppable. No, really, right? It's not just passion, because at the beginning you'll have a lot of passion, and hopefully the passion remains. That I think that's another conversation to have. Like,
Yeah.
how do you maintain passion? How do you keep the fire burning?
Yeah.
Um,
But there's different things between like passion and it being steady, right? And dopamine hits.
sheesh.
Like, because usually that's what we want, like as women, and usually men too. You just want the dopamine hit.
Yeah.
And anything that is too much becomes irregular, even in your own body. And that's when you become uber selfish and, your whole body is dysregulated now. There's no way that you can become soulmates in a dysregulated body,
That's great.
whether it's too much dopamine or not at all.
Yeah, no, that's great. And so I wouldn't say, or maybe as you're hearing us, I think that the big takeaway to all of this, which I think this was a really rich conversation, is soulmates isn't about passion. It's about what we do on purpose.
Yeah.
It's not just what we do together passionately,
That's good.
right? It's about what we do together purposely, right? And so if you're looking, if you're early on in your relationship, I think maybe this is a good baseline for people who aren't 27 years in, right? Is, does she have the potential? Does he have the potential
Yeah.
to be a soulmate based on what we agree to do on purpose?
That's good.
We agree to do these boundaries on purpose. We agree to speak this way on purpose.
Yeah.
If you're married, we agree to these values on purpose. If you're dating, we agree to these boundaries on purpose, and on it goes, right? And so doing things on purpose, I think, becomes the bricks by which you build a soulmate relationship.
So good.
That's very good. Good talk. Hey, thanks for joining us in the living room. That was your conversation. Thanks for being my soulmate.
Thank you for being my soulmate.
Hey, I love you. Hey,
love you.
Grateful for you guys. Thanks for always joining us. As always, what do we want them to do, babe?
Hit the subscribe button.
Hit it. Hit that subscribe button. Turn on the bell notification on YouTube. And it really helps us. It helps a lot of people discover the content. Hit a like, leave a comment. We love hearing from y'all. You don't believe us? Watch, leave a comment, and we do our best to get back with everybody. And hey, go follow us on Instagram as well. You can keep up with us there and see what else is going on around our lives and all the spaces that we live in together. And we'd love for you to be connected to everything that's going on around here. And so the Instagram information is in the description of this video. Can't wait to see you next time in the living room. Until then, we love y'all.